Good evening, viewers. This is Railroad Mark here. Just an update on my layout. Sorry about the long in between videos. This is my latest edition. This is the Heritage Rail Express, which is the Duke of Gloucester. Now here she is down here, a beautiful little locomotive. She is only sort of the railroad version of it. Very nicely detailed. Lots of beautiful separately fitted handrails on there, copper painted pipes here, fitted handrails on the cab. Unfortunately on the tender the little handrails are only painted on. It has a 5-pole motor in it. It has pickups only on the 6 main driving wheels there, but other than that, as I know, I run all my trains on DCC. A beautiful smooth runner. We'll just have a little takeoff here. As you can see, beautifully slow takeoff. And she comes along with 3 coaches in the set, as you've seen on the previous picture. These coaches are all beautifully detailed, very fine on you see on these windows frames here, very finely detailed. I've just got another older LMS coach here, and you can see the detail on the windows there, and so the windows are there, so you can see that the detail is a lot more finer on the new version. These are only a railroad model, but they're a especially detailed set of coaches. So she comes with 2 composite coaches and 1 brake. I'll just move her along so you can see them as I go along. A beautiful set, runs very nicely, and we come up to our brake coach, and just to complete the train off, I had a backman baggage car, so I've added that to the end of the train. And as you can see, it's only not a full long one, it's only a small version of it, but it blends in terrifically with the rest of the train. As you can see, the linings are almost identical, but so is the gold, but the colouring is very close. I do have a Triang full brake coach here. As you can see, it's got the same emblem as on that train there. The only trouble is the red colour is that little bit different, and with this model being HO, the scale is just a little bit bigger. You can't really notice it, but you can notice it, if you know what I mean. When they line up together like that, it is just a little bit taller. Not much, just a little bit. If you actually put a flat surface on here and run it into the next coach, it actually hits the back of this coach here on top of you, so you actually tell they are different in size. But never mind, I've got that other beautiful backman little brake coach there, and it's terrific. So it makes a beautiful perfect train set. I highly recommend this model. It's a very good runner. As I said, it only has the pickups on all the 3 main driving wheels, but it's very much like my Flying Scotsman, which again is a railroad model, which is what I collect because I can't afford to buy the premium grade models all the time. So I've just valued for these, and this is great value where you get the locomotive and the 3 coaches. It cost me $230 to get it sent out to me from the UK. As I say, AJM Railways. I get all my trains from them, and it works out to be very affordable for me to do it that way. Also, adding to my collection of things I have brought, I have this Elite controller now, using this. Still trying to get used to it all yet. I've gone from the Select controller. I still have that just sitting here. That's the old Select. I've had that for many years. It's been very faithful to me, so I'm not in any rush to get rid of it yet, in case something goes wrong with the Elite. At least I've still got something to run trains with. I try and still keep the even though the numbers go up to 9,999, I still try and keep the engine numbers below the 59, so still compatible with my Select controller. Anything to get used to with these controllers is that when you turn the knob, you don't get a instant reaction. You have to turn the knob slowly a little bit to get any sort of reaction. But if you turn hard and fast on this knob, it does react straight away. So as you can see, I've got that on that speed there, not even on half speed, and here she comes down there. And so it's coming at a nice pace. As you can see, she's running very, very nicely. A very strong locomotive too. It's quite heavy. It's got a lot of characteristic symbols, same as the 9F. Like the cab, the body shell is very similar to a 9F. It's not, but if you weren't a little close to detail, you would say it's the same locomotive, the cab ride. The tenders are different, but as you can see, this is a beautiful running locomotive. I'm very, very, very happy with it. Okay, that's almost, yeah, I've got, I've had dramas with my B12 again. The engine failed on it, and I've looked up service sheets for it. There's no service sheet for a railroad B12, so the motor for it is not available. So that's a bit of a downfall, a downlet for me. So what I'm at present moment is trying to look for the motors and find one that's pretty close to it. You can get one for the D49 class, but the gearing on it is too large. I've got the two motors here. The bottom one's off the D49, the top one's off the railroad model. It's just a slight difference in the worm gear. The worm gear on this one's a bit thicker. It does fit onto the D49, but the gearing's very, very tight on it, so you might land up with a few problems later on in life if you try running it, or you might even burn that motor out again. So, I have tried replacing the worm gear, but without no prevail. I think it must do some sort of damage to the motor trying to get the worm gear off. I don't know how, but if you're only hitting the pin out and the worm out, but I don't know. I'll try again later on with another one. But I'm looking on Peter Spares, and also New Modelers have a good website too for spare parts also. So that's it. That's all from me. Over and out. I'll just leave you a few runnings of the beautiful Duke of Gloucester.